Hello, my name is Ashutosh and I am going to talk about today about SAT and ACT. There are a lot of confusion among the students like which test I have to go for, whether I should go for the SAT or I should go for the ACT, right? So in this video, we'll talk about that only. What are the requirements or the differences, what are the similarities between the SAT and the ACT? And at last, we'll also understand what are the decision factors, whether you should go for the SAT or SAT. Firstly, let's try to understand what are the similarities and differences between the SAT and the ACT. First thing, both ACT and ACT are used for UG programs and college admissions in USA. ACT is accepted only in USA, but SAT is accepted even in USA and outside USA. So if you are looking for the global opportunities, like you can go for any other country also, like Canada, UK and all. So you should go for the SAT programs. Both SAT and ACT are used for the merit-based scholarship admissions. So if you are planning to apply for the scholarship, you should give either of the test. Either it is the SAT test or it is the ACT test. Both SAT and ACT are the computer-based tests. You have to take this test on the computer. You will be going to the center, and they will use your devices for the test. ACT is adaptive test, but ACT is not adaptive test. The digital ACT that we have now, it's adaptive test. It means there are two models of the maths, two models of reading and writing. So in each of them, each of the models, whether it is the English or the maths, the next model depends on your response in the previous model. So the difficulty will be accordingly your response in the previous model in the SAT. But there is no such thing in the ACT. ACT is not adaptive. There will be fixed number of questions. The fixed questions will be coming out, and you have to answer all the questions to your best. Calculator is allowed in both the tests, so you can use the calculator, be it the SAT or ACT. So these are the few of the differences. You can see and similarities between the SAT and ACT. Also, in ACT, there is an optional AC is there that you can choose if you want to go for the essay writing. If you don't want to go for the essay writing, you can opt out that. In SAT, in digital SAT, there is no essay writing now, so you don't have to worry about the essay if you are going for the SAT program. But in ACT, you have both options. Even you can opt out in the ACT program also. Now, what is the difference in the test pattern? So the time duration for the SAT program, SAT program is 2 hours and 14 minutes, while the time for ACT program is 2 hours and 55 minutes with essay and 3 hours 40 minutes without essay. So ACT is now a bit longer than the SAT as we compare the time duration. When we talk about the sections, in the SAT, we have the reading and writing section. There are two models of reading, two models of reading and writing, and two models of maths. In the ACT, we have English, maths, reading, science, reasoning, and essay, which is optional. So science is a kind of additional topic here, additional subject here, but it's not pure science. It's not, you don't have to do anything with the science there. You'll be getting the passages and the information, tables, graphs based on the science research, and based on that, you have to answer the questions which have been asked. The score of the ACT, you can see that is 400 to 1600, and the score scale of ACT is 1 to 36. Now, if we talk about the topics, in the SAT, there is no English topics, English section as such, so we don't have to worry about the topics in the English part. But in ACT, you have the English as a different section. So there you get the questions based on the production of writing, knowledge of language, and some standard English, right? When we talk about the maths, most of the syllabus of maths are same in SAT and ACT. But if you find, in the ACT, there are more questions towards the stats and probability. Stats are in the part of SAT also, but more questions are there in ACT as compared to SAT from the stats and probability. Plus also in algebra part, in ACT, you find that there's a logarithmic function or logarithm in the ACT, but in SAT, there is no logarithm. So we don't have to worry about log in the SAT exam. But in ACT, you have to go with that. When you talk about the reading part, so in SAT, we have the reading and writing combined. In ACT, we have the 4 reading passages. Only reading section is there, which is separate. Normal English section you already have there. In SAT, there is no science section, but in ACT, there is a science section, which is going to test your critical thinking skills. It is not required any specific science knowledge, but you have a kind of section where you are getting some questions based on the science research. It can be in the form of a table or the graph, and you have to answer the question which has been asked based on that. So what are the decision factors that we have to consider? Obviously, you can go through the test pattern, and you can find out which one is kind of test pattern that you would like to go, and then what are the kind of topic, kind of questions you'll be getting in the ACT and ACT. So the first one is, obviously, if you are targeting for US only, you should go for the ACT. I mean, you can also go for the SAT. But if you are targeting for any other country also, other than the USA, like it can be Canada, or it can be UK, it can be Ireland, it can be Singapore, Australia, any other country. So in that case, you should go for the ACT test. Secondly, check the admission requirement of the university you are targeting. So in case if you are having any particular university and you target, and you're just looking for the admission in that university only, so you can look at the admission requirement, what exactly they're asking. If they're asking for ACT, go for ACT. If they're asking for SAT, go for the SAT. Third, take a full-length direct test for both AC. Let's say if you are targeting only for the US, so you have both options, whether I should go for the ACT or SAT. So take a full-length direct test and get an idea whether you are comfortable with the kind of patterns of ACT or SAT, whether you are comfortable with the kind of questions will be asked in the ACT or the SAT. So as per that, you can decide by yourself. So I think these are the informations which are required for you to understand the differences between the ACT and ACT. That's all for today. In the next video, we'll be coming with some other topic and some other informations. Thank you.